It's hard to imagine world history and Western civilization without the Romans. The Romans had a republic for about 500 years. And then, as you know, with the rise of Julius Caesar and the struggles that happened after his death, the Roman Republic will transition into a Roman Empire. So for about 500 years, the Romans will operate an empire around the Mediterranean region, in Europe, parts of Africa, and the Middle East. They will be the powerhouse in the neighborhood. There are so many things that the Romans have given the world during this empire time. Roads, aqueducts, government. And there are many Roman emperors, some of them great, some terrible, some crazy. No one would say any of these are perfect. No human ruler has ever been perfect. But the Roman Empire grew in size and in strength. Here's a map of the empire in the year 117 AD. Now, it's important to remember that in the year 117 AD, the Romans didn't know that it was the year 117 AD. They operated on a different calendar. When we use the date 117 AD, we're operating on a Christian calendar. And so one of the most important things in the history of the world that occurs during the Roman Empire is the creation of the Christian religion. There are three monotheistic religions in the world. Judaism is the oldest. Christianity is the middle in terms of age. Islam is the newest. But again, the idea of having a year 117 AD, that year is based on the year of the Lord, which Christian leaders, many years later, hundreds of years later, will go back and try to piece together the clues of when they believe Jesus was born. And then from that point, they'll start the calendar. But people living during that time did not use that calendar. We use it today. It's one of the most popular calendars on earth. Even if you're not a Christian, most people in the West use the Christian calendar. But what about Christianity in the Roman Empire? Most of us are familiar with the story of the birth of Jesus, even if you're not a Christian. But this all happened under the watchful eye of the Roman Empire. Again, the Roman emperor was not in Jerusalem or in Bethlehem, but that area fell to the jurisdiction of one of his proconsuls or governors, in this case Pontius Pilate. When Jesus was born, it wasn't a turning point in terms of everybody in the whole region became Christian. There were a few followers as Jesus grew and as he was executed by the Romans, as tradition tells. There were some who believed in him, and then they believed that Jesus rose from the dead. And so they took this message, the teachings of Jesus and how they believed, fulfilled Old Testament promises, and began to build the church. And as the church would spread, it would take hundreds of years. Because, of course, the Romans would not accept early Christians, because one of the tenets of being a Roman citizen and living in the Roman Empire was that you needed to believe that the Roman emperor was God. And they had many gods besides the Roman emperor. Jupiter, their version of Zeus, and all the other gods that the Greeks had who've now taken on Roman names. So as the church meeting underground and spreading, it would be illegal for someone to be a Christian because it violated many things that the Roman Empire held dear. And of course, a good Christian would never compromise their beliefs. So don't think of Christianity in the early days as having fancy church buildings. It was a secret organization that met underground, sometimes literally underground, and in secret, because if they were found out by the Romans, they would be executed. As you see in this painting, some Christians are meeting and praying there in the Colosseum as the lion and the tiger are sent in. Some are being executed by cross and crucified on the sides and burned. The early church leaders of Christianity were hunted down, and many of them were killed in terrible ways by the Romans. But that did not stop the message from spreading. But it was illegal to be a Christian in the Roman Empire until a few things happen. One such emperor will come along in the year 312. Something will happen to the Roman Emperor Constantine. At least he believes it will happen. Again, Christianity is illegal. Up until this point, Constantine would have been anti-Christian. But he has a vision, a dream, the night before he goes into battle, where he believes God reveals to him a flaming cross in the sky, and he hears the words, "In this you will conquer," meaning put your faith in the cross and you will conquer. So something happened in Constantine's heart, and he makes the switch from being someone who believed in many gods to believing in one God and following Jesus. And so he orders the red cross to be painted on his soldiers' shields, and goes into battle and is victorious. As a result of that, he believes he's been called by God to make Christianity acceptable inside the Roman Empire. So he issues the Edict of Milan in 1313, or in 313, I should say. And by the order of the emperor, Christianity is now legal. So in the year 313, Christianity goes from being illegal. If you were a Christian, you're in trouble, you're arrested and possibly killed, to being, it's okay if you are a Christian. You can still worship Jupiter and the emperor if you'd like, but Christianity is a viable option now thanks to the Edict of Milan in 313. And then a few years later, in this amazing journey of Christianity going from being illegal to being accepted, we get the Roman Emperor Theodosius, who in 392 makes Christianity the official religion of the Roman Empire. It's easy to remember this because if you look at Theodosius, it starts with a T and it looks like a cross, and this is how I remember it, and many people remember it that way. So, it is wild to think about that Christianity during the Roman Empire starts off as kind of an illegal cult that the Roman emperor and the Roman government would have nothing to do with. It was illegal to be a Christian for a while. Hundreds of years as this church is forming and as the disciples of Jesus are meeting, being hunted down and killed, but the word and their deeds are captured in written form and will be spread throughout the empire. Eventually, through the actions of Constantine, it will become legal to be a Christian. So you won't get in trouble if you are a Christian. You can be anything else still, but it's okay to be a Christian. Finally, it is illegal if you're not a Christian, and you would be hunted down and killed. And so the church becomes legitimate. It becomes the Church of Rome, and of course, that's where the headquarters for the Christian church will be, as the universal, or another word for universal would be Catholic Church, is established right there in Rome. And even today, the Catholic Church headquarters is in Rome, in Vatican City. But it all goes back really to the story of the church during the early years of the empire, going from a religion that's illegal to a religion that's tolerated to a religion that is the official faith of the Roman Empire, which will establish Christianity as a main religion on planet Earth, and Catholicism as one of the main types of Christianity on the planet.